How's it going, guys? My name is Zach with the movie Castle, and today we're going to be talking about Jack Frost from 1996, directed by Michael Cooney, and starring Scott McDonald, Shannon Elizabeth, Christopher Alpert, and Stephen Mendel. This is a Christmas horror movie. I'm a channel that covers primarily horror movies, and since it is the holiday season, I thought I'd go ahead and cover a bunch of Christmas-related horror movies. Maybe not all of them will be horror movies, but a lot of them will be because 'tis the season, right? So, Jack Frost. This is a pretty fun movie that I'm a pretty good fan of. In fact, just offset throughout the whole year, my little Jack Frost sits on the shelf over there. But anyway, this is, think of like the most full moon movie that wasn't actually made by full moon. I'll go ahead and jump into the plot. No heavy spoilers, but I want you guys to be at least a little familiar with it. It starts off with a Christmas tree. The camera pans around, and you get to see little ornaments that are actually the opening credits with the names of the cast members on them. I always thought this was a really fun opening scene. You get Grandpa telling his daughter the movie's backstory as this is going on, and the granddaughter wants a story, and she's got this really high, overly cartoony, squeaky voice, and the grandfather's telling this wildly inappropriate story about a serial killer killing a bunch of people named Jack Frost. And he was killing a bunch of people, but this local nobody small town sheriff just so happens to be there at the right time and does what the FBI can't and brings Jack Frost in. Now, Jack Frost, even though he's essentially powerless to get out and should not be able to escape this situation, says that he'll find a way to get revenge. And that leaves this local small-town sheriff really upset, and just wants to see him dead, so this is all over and behind him. You cut to Jack Frost on the way to his execution, and he's talking to the guards in the back, and you do get to see that, even before he takes on his final form, Jack Frost is a pretty mean and menacing guy, and in fact, the human form is pretty terrifying too. So anyway, he's in the back plotting, but before he can really do anything, the icy roads lead to the prison truck crashing into a chemical truck transporting a secret government chemical. Jack gets out and is about to declare victory and run off when all of a sudden something snaps on the chemical truck and sprays him right in the face with this mysterious chemical. He falls on the ground and melts, and then you get this fun kind of Christmassy little animation bit where you see that the chemical has bound his DNA to the snow molecules and has turned him into living snow. Now, cut back to the village. The sheriff is trying to live a happy life, but he's a little unsure, especially, because Jack Frost died in such a mysterious way. But then, throughout town, little deaths start to happen. An old man on the outskirts is seemingly flash frozen, and no one really knows how this murder could have happened, the way his neck's bent back and weird. But then a local bully is actually harassing the sheriff's son, and he mysteriously gets killed, and the son blames a snowman that someone had made outside their house on the deaths. And they're like, okay, you can't say a snowman did it. But the sheriff reports some of these deaths to the FBI, and they send their man down there, and this FBI guy, he shows up with an assistant, and he's taking control of the situation, kind of steering things to his own way, and of course you get some back and forth between him and the sheriff, both kind of wanting to be in charge, or at least not let out of the loop, and maybe the FBI guy doesn't know everything about small town life, so there's some fun back and forth there, but pretty quickly, you don't have to wait too long for it, they find out that the son was 100% telling the truth about there being a killer snowman on the loose, and wacky shenanigans follow. I guess we'll get into the pros and cons of this movie. Pros, there is a ton of creativity in this movie. Cool little things, for example, say, some of the kills, you get someone that's decapitated with a sled, you get another guy that's murdered with an axe, but rather than just chopping into his head, they shove the handle down his throat. It's like, okay, why didn't you just chop his head? There's another one where a lady gets wrapped up in Christmas lights. There are lots of fun, really creative kills, shove an ornament in her mouth, and she actually wasn't really that bad of a character, and she got a pretty gnarly death there. But lots of creativity. There's also creativity in camera work and storytelling. One of my favorite moments is the sheriff walks into his assistant's office, and or secretary rather, and the secretary is a really fun character, kind of like the Ghostbusters secretary, kind of no nonsense and stuff, but she's got a grim look on her face, and he goes, "What, did somebody die?" And she holds up a memo, and the memo just says, "Somebody died," and that always was just a little fun moment that stuck with me, and there's, several fun moments, moving cameras in fun ways, or creative ways to tell something, and the movie in and of itself is pretty funny. There's lines, Jack Frost gets a ton of one-liners, or you get, some ridiculous thing like the first guy that knows it's a snowman goes and starts punching all these snowmen people have made and screams out, "It's a bleeping snowman," and really just, fun over-the-top stuff. And, of course, another really fun thing with this movie is Jack Frost powers. He can turn into any state, the snow's in, so he can be in the frozen solid form, or he can melt and slide under a door or something, so he can be solid or liquid snow, and he can, make icicles and, like, say, shoot them out of his hands, or open his mouth up really big and have a bunch of frozen icicle teeth, and he can kind of, disguise and melt into the snow and stuff. So it's a pretty cool thing, and I do like when, they keep continuity, like, say he melts under a door, well, he couldn't bring his carrot and his coal with him, so he'll have, an empty face, and I did like when they paid attention to detail like that. And, there is lots of fun little details, like things in the background, like a building's on fire and everybody runs away, but if you look in the background, you can see a guy with some sticks and marshmallows on the end running towards the fire. And there's fun little tiny things like that, and it is really, really cool. Now that being said, there is some definite flaws. This is a low-budget movie, and there are times you can really see that. A lot of the time when they're filming outside, it's pretty clear it really isn't actually snowy or a cold day. And if you pay attention to that, you can tell the Jack Frost costume, it's kind of obvious that it's some sort of felt or something and not real snow. But it does its job, especially if it's campy. But, not all the humor lands. Like at one point, Jack says, "Don't eat the yellow snow." And I still don't quite know what he was talking about, because no one made yellow snow in that scene. Maybe I missed something. So yeah, not all the humor lands, and of course you do get some weird character logic. Most famously, there's this girl who her younger brother had just died, and after hearing this, she storms out of the house, and then for I don't really know what reason, she decides that she is going to break into the sheriff's house with her boyfriend and have sex there. And I'm like, okay, why are you breaking into the sheriff's house to do this, and you really want to do this after a family member of yours has died? I don't know. That's kind of weird. And of course, there's something the son does that's revealed later on in the movie that quite literally could have almost killed his father. So yeah, there are weird low-budget character beats and some plot points. And yes, there is one scene that definitely goes way too far. But that being said, yeah, a lot of it doesn't work, but I think more of it works than doesn't. But yeah, it's not a 100% rate there. Now, the thing is, though, this is a fun movie. Now, a lot of times when you go see a comedy, you think, I'm gonna go and they're gonna be all these well-crafted jokes. This isn't so much like your standard comedy. This is really what you have to think of as a stupid movie. You know, they found a concept, a ridiculous concept. A killer comes back as a snowman, and he's gonna kill all these people, and hey, we'll even call the town, what, Snowmington or something? And it's a silly concept, and they just ran with it and had fun. So it's not so much a comedy like, hey, we're gonna tell all these jokes, although there is jokes in there. It's more, hey, have fun with a ridiculous concept, we're gonna have fun making it. And, you know, not every joke lands, but you can tell there's heart behind this movie. There's lots of people that had fun making it, and you can feel that. You know, it's a good cult classic for a reason, and it's mostly effective. Now, yeah, there are definite flaws, and the film critics among you won't like it, but if you're down for a good, stupid movie, you know, it's definitely fun, and, you know, you can pull that classic prank, you know, tell people you're watching the family-friendly Jack Frost, and then put in the other Jack Frost, because they're quite famously two different movies with this title. But anyway, cheesy, full moon-esque movie. That being said, thank you guys for watching so far. If you like what you've seen, I'm going to be doing more Christmas horror videos the rest of the month. To everyone who's liked and subscribed, thank you. You really are helping the channel out. And I'll see you guys again very, very soon. Relevant playlist at the bottom. Have a good day.